Zach, 76 million Americans live where gas prices now average over $5 a gallon. That's wild. We've never seen this before.
I don't even know, like, how. Like, fundamentally, how? How do people afford it? But anyway, we don't have to have that full discussion right now. Honestly, though, one of the ways people are finding a way to afford it, doing what you did. They're buying EVs. They're buying hybrids. They're charging at home. They're saving money that way.
Yeah, if they can find one. So nationally, right now, as of June 2nd, gas prices average $4.72 a gallon. We've never seen gas prices like that before. In California, where 40 million Americans reside, they're paying $6.20 a gallon. So it's no surprise that everyone wants an EV, right? Shopping for EVs, interest has soared by 73% in May. That is a huge, huge spike.
And that comes from Cox Automotive, right?
Yeah, so the number crunchers over at Cox have found that even hybrids have seen a big jump, which that's no surprise. I mean, hybrids get about twice the fuel efficiency of a non-hybrid combustion vehicle. They've seen interest jump by 25%. I was surprised by the huge difference between hybrids and full EVs. 73% interest versus 25% increase in interest. That's a big gap, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really is.
And just plain old fuel-efficient gas-powered cars, think like your Toyota Corollas, your Honda Civics, interest in those models jumped by 33% over the past few months.
Which is painful, to say the least, because we know automakers, because of the chip shortage, have focused their attention on building their more high-profit vehicles. Their high-profit vehicles are their more expensive pickups and SUVs and things like that. And that leaves not a lot of Corollas on the lots to be picking from. And obviously, we've talked about on this show, we've talked about on the YA channel, there's just not enough fuel-efficient vehicles, period. Hybrids or EVs. Like Toyota, for example, just this past month, I think they took down their projections for June of how many vehicles they were going to produce globally by 150,000. Out of I think their original target was 950,000. So that's a significant chunk of vehicles that Toyota isn't going to manufacture to make it to market. And then we're seeing increased interest in these vehicles they're not producing. It's a pretty crappy mix, to be honest, if you're in the market to buy one.
Yeah, in May, Hyundai only sold 1,800 Ioniq 5 EVs, and from the interest we've seen on the YAA community forum, we've had so many shoppers interested in the Ioniq 5. I would guess that if the availability was there, if the inventory was there, a lot more EVs, not just the Ioniq 5, but a lot more EVs in general would be sold right now, but it's just so hard to find one, and not to mention we've got dealer markups sending prices. I mean, sometimes $100,000 for an electric truck that's not even on the lot yet, that's not going to be good for most buyers' wallets.
Oh, absolutely not. So do you think, Justin, that as as gas prices continue to increase, will that just further inculcate this trend? Like, we're going to see more and more interest in EVs, hybrids, and more fuel-efficient ICE vehicles. I know when I've talked about it with my dad over on the YA channel, like, he feels pretty strongly that, like, yeah, if gas prices go up, he was at a mini dealership when gas prices went up last time. Like, interest in minis went through the roof. What's your take? Like, do you think this helps with the EV revolution?
Well, first I want to note that based on my research, I don't think gas prices are going down anytime soon. They may fluctuate 20, 30 cents here and there, but gas prices are going to stay high for a while, unlike the last few gas price spikes. That itself is going to start to change the mindset of the average American driver. EVs are going to look a lot more promising for their wallet, for their lifestyle, even if you have to charge for 30, 45 minutes on a road trip.
Yeah.
It's going to be a better deal if you're saving literally $80 versus going to the pump. I've calculated that with my EV purchase, I'm saving $150 a month in fuel costs. That helps to offset my monthly payment. And as gas prices stay high, more Americans are going to be thinking about that aspect. I do think with the over $500 billion automakers have invested in EV production and R&D, we're going to be seeing more and more of EVs, not only in automotive media, but coming from dealers who are going to start to warm up to the idea of promoting their brand's EVs. Right now, you can go into a Kia dealership and they're not even talking about the EV6, right? We've worried about Kia dealers killing the EV6. But as gas prices become a number one priority and concern for Americans, I think we're going to see interest spike not only at the consumer level, but in all levels of the supply chain, including from dealerships.
Want to know who the good dealer is in your neighborhood? Go to joinyaa.com and check out our crowdsourced dealer reviews. All of our community members coming together to help one another.
Now, Justin, forgive me for maybe getting a little personal here. What's your monthly car payment?
$550.
$550.
And I save $150 a month. I've done the math.
That's incredible. If you're watching this video and you're like, I'm like on the... That's incredible. If you're able to buy an EV at MSRP, no markups, like you were able to do, Justin, we have a great video on that back on the YAA channel. Your payment's actually $400 a month. I mean, it's not, so let's be very clear, but like you could think about it that way. And that's real money. That's a significant amount of money. That's incredible.
Yeah, not to mention just how fun it is to drive an EV. I feel like I'm driving a little spaceship around the city streets of West Virginia. There's also that factor that really justifies my monthly payment. But we've got to think about affordability because EVs are still, on average, $56,000. That is not going to cut it for most households. I had to save up for a long time to make this EV purchase. If affordable EVs ever make it to market in 2023 or hopefully next year, I think we're going to see a massive transition to electrification. Maybe it's going to be a large share of plug-in hybrids because that fits a lot of drivers' needs better. Maybe hybrids will continue to sell well, but we're going to see electrification overall take an even greater percentage of U.S. sales market share. We've been at 12 to 15% electrified market share. I think we're going to be headed over 20% pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And as gas prices go up and up and up, like you said, 76%. Was it 76% of Americans?
76 million Americans, which is about, 20% of Americans live where gas is over $5 a gallon.
Okay, well, as that goes from 76 million to 100 million, 150 million.
It's not going down anytime soon.
Coming.
Summer's just starting.
No wonder GM's coming out with a Bolt that's actually affordable. Yeah, it's an interesting time. We'll keep you updated with the latest data from our friends over at Cox. They're not actually our friends, but we read their data. We'll keep you updated with that as we learn it. Justin, this is pretty fascinating stuff. I appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
Yeah, we'll stay on top of the situation and keep you updated.